Welcome to our discussion of Stage 27 about the Language 1, Indirect Commands. In Stage 24, we began using the subjunctive and cum clauses. And then in Stage 25, we began using the subjunctive in indirect questions. We learned that the imperfect subjunctive shows that the action in the subordinate clause takes place at the same time as or subsequent to the action in the main clause. But the pluperfect subjunctive indicates that the action in the subordinate clause took place already before the action in the main clause. So both cum clauses and indirect questions could show the imperfect subjunctive or the pluperfect subjunctive, but with a difference in meaning. Then in stage 26, we began using the subjunctive in purpose clauses. So here's a couple of examples. Milites ad orbem cucarerunt ut vilas incenderent. The soldiers ran to the city in order that they might burn the houses or to burn the houses. Rex templum intravit ut victimam sacrificaret. The king entered the temple in order that he might sacrifice the victim, to sacrifice the victim. In both of these purpose clauses, you can see we have the imperfect subjunctive, and purpose clauses only use the imperfect subjunctive because the contents of the subordinate clause are always going to take place at the same time as or subsequent to the main clause, just because of what purpose clauses mean. So now in stage 27, we're meeting a new kind of subordinate clause that uses the subjunctive, indirect commands. And just like purpose clauses, the action in an indirect command just has to take place at the same time as or subsequent to the action in the main clause, that verb of commanding or urging. Therefore, indirect commands also, like purpose clauses, always use the imperfect subjunctive. So let's compare some purpose clauses and some indirect commands. All right, so here's our purpose clause from before. Milites ad ordinem cucarerunt ut vilas incenderent. The soldiers ran to the city in order that they might burn the houses. And here's the same subordinate clause, but now in an indirect command. Centurio militibus imperavit ut vilas incenderent. The centurion ordered the soldiers to burn the houses. Okay, here's our purpose clause from before. Rex templum intravit ut victimam sacrificaret. The king entered the temple in order that he might sacrifice the victim, to sacrifice the victim. Here's a very similar indirect command clause. Rex nobis persuasit. The king persuaded us ut victimam sacrificaremus, that we sacrifice the victim, to sacrifice the victim. Okay, so each time you have in the indirect command, in the main clause, you have a verb of commanding or persuading or urging. And then you have this ut clause with the imperfect subjunctive. That's your clause of indirect command. They work just like purpose clauses, but they're introduced by verbs of commanding, persuading, or urging, or something like that. All right, that's it.